students, and welcome back to my class. Students, this video is for class 7. Today we are going to start a new lesson of literature. This is the third lesson and the name is The Meeting Pool by Ruskin Bond. Students, I know that most of you are already familiar with this name Ruskin Bond. In the previous year also we have studied Ruskin Bond. So I do not expect you to be not familiar with this name. Let me tell you something about Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was born on 1934. He was an Indian author. He lived most of his life in Missouri. He has written more than 300 stories for only children. He got Padma Bhushan Award in 2014. So my first home assignment for you today is you have to search Ruskin Bond and you have to write something about him. And apart from the meeting pool, you have to write 2 of his works, okay? And you have to describe them. Now coming back to the story, The Meeting Pool. In this story, what is the short summary of this story? Let me just tell you. In this story, there are 3 friends. They are children, okay? In their childhood, they made a promise. What kind of promise was that? The 3 of them made a promise that after 10 years, they will meet at the same place together. Now, what happens to their promise? What will happen to their promise? What happens to them? What goes in their life? That I'm not going to tell you right now. Because for that, we have to study the story line by line. So students, before I start today's lesson, I want you to take your copy and pen. So you may note down important points. Okay, so let's start.
So as I have told you, this story is written by whom? Ruskin Bond. Yes. Okay. I have already told you that this is the story of 3 friends. What were their names? Yes, their names were Somi, Anil and Rusty. Here, Rusty is our narrator. He is narrating the whole story. Actually, he is remembering the incident. Okay? He is just remembering this incident which happened a long time back. So, let's start today's session. It was Somi's idea that we should meet at the pool in 10 years' time. So, the story starts and Rusty, who is the narrator of our story, tells us that it was whose idea? It was Somi's idea that they would meet at pool after 10 years. When we are men, he said, we must come back to this place 10 years from now today. Rusty, at midday on the 5th of April 1964, we must return to the pool, no matter where we are or what we are doing. We must meet at the pool. Promise? Okay, so the story starts and Rusty says that it was Somi's idea that they would meet after 10 years at the same pool. When they will become an adult, when they will become men, then they must come back to this place. Okay? 10 years from now. And Somi said that 10 years from now means midday on the 5th of April 1964. Okay? So, here Somi was talking to Rusty and he was saying, Rusty, that we will come after 10 years at the same place. No matter where we are, no matter what we are doing, we must meet at the pool. And he asked for the promise. Promise. I said, who is the I here? Who is the I? Yes, I is the Rusty. And Rusty said, okay, promise. Promise, said Anil, and Anil also promised Somi. It was a schoolboy's pledge and made it in deadly earnest. As boys, we usually mean that the things we say, and so we shook hands on it and dived back into the water. So, students, these three friends were talking to each other and they were making a promise. What kind of promise? That after 10 years they will come again at the same place and they would meet each other. Pledge means sincere promise, okay? And deadly earnest means in a very serious manner. Well, students, I'll also give you word meanings, okay? I'll also give you the vocabulary in the question answer video. But for now, please take your copy and pen and note down the word meanings that I am dictating, okay? So deadly earnest means, see this word, deadly earnest. It's mean serious manner. Okay, so it was a schoolboy's pledge. They were only kids and they made a promise. It was a child's promise. So they shook their hands, they shook their hands with each other and they again dived means jumped into the water. Dived means jumped. Okay, so they made a promise to each other and then again they jumped into the water. The pool had been discovered by me a few months earlier. I remember that it was going to rain. I could see the rain moving across the foothills and I could smell it in the breeze. See, the word breeze means air. Breeze means air. A-I-R. Okay. So this pool where they were sitting was the discovery of Rusty. I means Rusty because Rusty is the narrator. And Rusty here is remembering the incident once, okay, when there was going to rain. One day it was going to rain. Rusty could see that it was going to rain. He could feel that. He could smell that in the air that it is going to rain. But instead of turning homewards, I pushed my way through the leaves and the brambles that grew across the forest path. Bramble means wild bushes. Okay, the wild bushes. Okay, so Rusty realized that it was going to rain. He had an option, to go back to his home. But instead of going home, he continued his way. He pushed the leaves and the wild bushes in that forest and he continued his walk in the forest. I had heard the murmur of water at the bottom of sliding down a rock lace into a small ravine. Okay. I found this stream running over a bed of shingle. Okay. So, as I've told you, he had an option to go back to his home. But what did he choose? He chose to explore the forest. He pushed the leaves, he pushed the brambles, he pushed the bushes, and he continued his walk in the forest. He could hear the sound of water. Murmur means soft sound. Okay? So he could hear the soft sound of water falling down the hill. And he wanted to see that water. He wanted to touch that water. He wanted to take a feel of that water. Okay? Sliding down a rock lace into a small ravine, I found the stream running over a bed of shingle. S-H-I-N-G-L-E. Shingle means round stones on the beaches. Okay? The round and the small stones which usually we see on the beaches. So he wanted to go there. He could see that the water that was falling, it was falling, it was going in from the hill, and that was coming into a, it was kind of making a small pond. It was making a small pond. Water trickled down from the hillside, from amongst ferns and grasses and the well-trimmed roses. Ferns means grasses. Okay, ferns also means grasses here. So water was dropping down. He could feel it. He could hear the sound of water drops. He could see the grasses. He could see the ferns and prim roses. Prim roses are basically plant of yellow color. Okay, prim roses are plants of yellow color, which looks very beautiful. The rocks beside this stream were smooth, and some of them were gray and some yellow. Okay, stream means water flow. So the rocks which were beside a stream were smooth, and some of the stones were of gray colors, some of the rocks were of yellow color. A small waterfall came down the rock and formed a deep round pool of apple green water. And that water, where that water was falling down, it was falling down and it was making a deep round pool which looked like a apple green water. When I saw that pool, I turned and ran back to town because I wanted to tell the others. Okay, so when he saw that pool, he became very excited. He became very happy. So he couldn't wait to tell his friends. He just wanted to run from there. He wanted to go back to his friends, and he just wanted to share that experience and that pool with his friends. Anil and Somi were my closest friends. Anil lived in a crowded lane of the Dilram Bazaar. So this is nothing new. We already know that Anil and Somi were the closest friends of Rusty. Now here we will get to know few things about Anil and Somi's character. Anil used to live in a crowded lane of Dilram Bazaar. Okay, lane is basically a narrow road. So he used to live in a very narrow road in Dilram Bazaar. He was wild, moody and impulsive. Impulsive means, doing things without not taking much consideration, without not thinking too much when you do something. That's known as impulsive. Okay, moody, you already know that moody is mood swings. The person who has a lot of mood swings, sometimes he can become happy, sometimes he can become unhappy for no reason. That kind of person is known as moody. So he was wild, moody and impulsive, but he had a certain charm. But he was charming too, means he had some kind of charm that people liked him. He was impulsive. Impulsive is not considered into a very good character, It's not a very good thing to be impulsive and moody. So he was impulsive and moody, but he had some kind of charm that people used to like him. Somi, on the other hand, was gentle in his ways, but he too, like Anil, had a sense of fun. So Anil was wild and moody, whereas Somi was very gentle, very generous. But he had a sense of humor. He had a sense of fun. Means they were not boring kind of personalities. They were entertaining. Okay. They usually chose the adventures we were to have, and I would just grumble. Grumble means complain about something. Okay, grumble and allow myself to be involved in them. So Rusty further says that it was Anil and Somi who usually chose the adventures. Okay, and he was the one who always used to complain about the adventures, and at the end of conversation he just allow himself, he just make force himself to be involved in that adventure. But the pool was my. Okay, so by this paragraph, what you get to know about Rusty, that he is not very adventurous. Okay, he is a simple and sober person who is not very adventurous like Anil and Somi. But the pool was my own discovery and I was proud of it, because he wasn't adventurous, he was quite sober person. So he was, for the first time, he was very proud, he was feeling proud because he discovered the pool. We'll call it Rusty's pool, said Somi. When Rusty went back to his friends, he told his friends that, I have discovered a pool, we will all go there, we will enjoy there. Then Somi told that we will call it Rusty's pool. Means they took a name for the pool. They selected a name for the pool as the Rusty's pool. And remember, it's a secret pool. No one else must know about it. And he says that we should not tell anybody about this pool. It will be a secret place for us. I think it was the pool that brought us together more than anything else. Okay. Rusty says that he thinks that it was pool which brought them together than anything else, because when they found that pool, after that most of their time they spent there on that pool together. So somewhere pool has a very important role in their life. It was somewhere very important, significant in their friendship and life. Okay, so let's move forward. I think it was the pool that brought us together more than anything else. Somi was a beautiful swimmer. He dived off the rock and went gliding about under the water like a long golden fish. Okay, so here we got to know about one more skill of Somi. What was that? Somi was a beautiful swimmer. Okay, he jumped into the rocks and he jumped into the water like a golden fish. Gliding means without doing so much effort. He used to swim in the water so effortlessly that he looked like a golden fish. Anil's leg and arms were very long and he threshed about with much vigor. Vigor means energy, blur little skill. So, and he said further that, but, okay, he says that Anil had a very long hands and arms. Anil's legs and arms were very long. So he also, he could also swim in the water very well without putting so much energy. I could dive off a rock, but I usually landed on my stomach. That means he could also dive off into the rock. He could also jump into the water, but mostly he landed on his stomach because he was not a very good swimmer. You can see here that. So whatever I have read till now, I just realized that Rusty do not have any special quality, isn't it? Rusty does not have any specific quality here. There were slim silver fish in the water of the stream. At first we tried catching them with a line, but they soon acquired the art of taking the bait without being caught on the hook. So in that stream, in that pool, what happened? What used to live there? Okay, slim silver fish. They used to live in that water. Firstly, they tried to catch those fishes with a fishing rod, but the fishes were also very smart. They were also very clever. So they also learn the skill of they learn the skill of moving away. Okay, so it was very hard for them to catch the fish. Next, we procured a bed sheet. Okay, so firstly they tried to catch the fish with fishing rod, and secondly they tried to catch the fish with the bed sheet. Anil removed it from his mother's laundry and we stretched it across one end of the stream, but the fish wouldn't come anywhere near it. So finally, without telling us, so what did happen? Firstly, they tried to catch the fish with a fishing rod, and secondly, they tried to catch the fish with the help of bed sheet. That bed sheet was removed from Anil's mother's laundry. Okay, so but they just stretched the bed sheet across the water from the two sides, but fishes were already very smart. They wouldn't come anywhere near the bed sheet. Finally, without telling us, Anil fetched a stick of gunpowder from a fireworks shop. So one day what happened? Anil did not tell anyone and he just went to the fireworks shop where where all these works happens, firework. And he just took stick of gunpowder from that shop. Somi and I were startled out of an afternoon nap by a flash across the water and deafening explosion. Deafening means, so loud, something so loud that it can be a reason for your hearing loss. That is known as deafening. An explosion means a huge bursting something. So what happened? One day these both friends were sleeping. Who? Anil and Somi and Rusty. And what did Anil do? Anil went to the fire workshop and he purchased a stick of gunpowder, and he just he was so curious for the fishes. He just wanted fishes anyhow. So one day these two friends were sleeping, and when they woke up, what happened? Let's see. Half the hillside tumbled into the pool, and so did Anil. But we got him out along with a good supply of fish that were really too small to eat. Okay, so what he did? He used gunpowder to catch the fishes, and when he did that, what happened? Half of the hill, because of that explosion, fell into the pool, and Anil also fell into the water. But thankfully, fortunately, his friends were there. He got him out, and he also got a lot of fishes, but those fishes were too small to eat. Anil, however, didn't want all his work going to waste, so he roasted his fish over a fire and ate them by himself, including their tails. Those fishes were very small, but Anil had done so much hard work for those fishes, so he did not want any fish to go waste. So he just, he cooked them all. He roasted all the fishes over the fire and he ate all the fishes, including their tails. So students, this was it for today. Okay, and as you can see, the story is quite long, so half of the part we will do in the next video.
Okay, so this was it for today, students. As you can see, this story is quite long and we cannot do it in one go. So we will do it in different short videos. Students, this is your today's homework. I'll just read out the questions for you. My first question is, who is the author of Meeting Pool? Who is the author of Meeting Pool? Second, who is the narrator of this story? Who is the narrator of this story? Third, describe the character of Anil and Somi. Fourth, who discovered the pool? You can also take the screenshot of these questions. So students, we will meet again in the next video, in the next part of this lesson. Till then, take care, stay safe.